sporting his Presec lapel pin, and the Comrade Murtala Mohammed had earlier advertised the Honorable and Diapia Kubi, but he couldn't be with us. But Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover is a worthy replacement. He's joining us here, former Deputy Minister, former MP, big man. Incidentally, they are both wearing the same shade of clothing, telepathy or what? Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, bro.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you because you were on break.
Yes.
And I really missed you.
Oh, me too.
On the screens.
Me too. I missed you, pa.
I missed you on the screens, but I knew you needed the break because you work all year long.
Right.
And these breaks are very, very important.
In fact, 3 years
some
running.
People sometimes buy their leave, Murtala, which is very risky. It's so bad. You need to have a break because when you look at these whites, they take a long break, go outside, go and have some respite to themselves, come back more energized, refreshed, and back to business. But over here, black man, I thought you want to sell the leave. By the time you realize you are breaking down slowly. So you look more refreshed and energized to continue. But I give you thumbs up, bro. Continue to serve this country. Raise the issues. Let's discuss it more passionately. We all want to develop this country.
Absolutely.
I'm coming from Tema. I can prefer to come to the motorway to the beach road.
Right.
But eventually we'll get to 3 studios.
That's right.
So if NDC is coming, MPP is coming, it's about the developmental interests of Ghana.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter the politics that we have, but we should speak issues that can touch on our people. At the end of the day, it's Ghana that we want to build.
Fantastic.
And for me, when I meet my brothers, we can do our normal politicking, but we are building Ghana together.
That's right.
So it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
In the studios of 3
FM 92%. Brand new studio.
I can see that.
Yeah, brand new studio.
I missed the
launch.
The launch.
Yeah.
I saw your missed call.
Yes.
But very late.
I was calling you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's about
calling
this.
you.
It was when I saw you on the screen. I was
calling you.
That was one of the reasons why you called. I'm so sorry.
I was calling you.
So
Murtala was fighting me yesterday as well. Sixtus didn't make the call.
I wasn't fighting, I was accusing.
Please use the microphone.
I was accusing.
Sixtus didn't make the call.
See? Made the call.
Yes.
Is it because I raised issues about how you were hounded out of the TV program on the Johnny's Bite? I feel that there's so much pressure from this government, and that pressure exerted on the management of the station to get the program off the TV.
But you were in the studio when he did the program.
They may deny. I mean,
we saw him.
No,
he made his point forcefully.
No, I'm saying that
like
they may deny. Why having a live program is better than they may deny that they didn't exert pressure on them, but I know that they exerted pressure on them, and my disappointment is that they succumbed to that pressure. You should be independent-minded and taking decisions that are near to the benefit of your listening public or viewing public. For you to succumb to such pressures, coming from a government that is already collapsing. I mean, this government is collapsing like a pack of cards. They should have been very strong enough to resist that attempt to hound you out of the program. Maybe. So I felt that's the reason why.
I have no comments. I have no comments at all.
You do not have comments, but I have comments. Anyway.
It's okay. That's why you are here. You're a panelist, so yes. It's okay. Let's begin. Titus Glover. Yesterday, the president announced changes in his government. We didn't see it coming, but it has happened. We have some new faces in there. We have the slots that were left by those who have indicated that they want to lead the New Patriotic Party and become president someday being filled. But was this really a reshuffle?
Before I attempt to respond to this concern, when we entered together with Murtala, I heard you talking about interview a colleague on a school building.
Right.
That you foresee a danger ahead.
Right.
And I felt that there's a need for us to talk about it a bit. Because if it's an old, dilapidated building and projects are designed for a number of pupils that could fill in, and where they are above the required number, and more so when it is an old building, the danger of a problem coming, we need to look at it. So I'm happy that your colleague has been able to raise the issue. But I heard him saying that the teacher said he cannot come here.
Right.
When he comes there, they will call the police on him.
So when he comes there, he will give them problems.
You give them problems.
Yes, they will be punished. So
and I don't see why a journalist who is prompting or raising the attention of authority to look at the danger ahead of us, that journalist rather must be commended. And I don't want a situation where we want to cow people into submission, where something bad is going on, they cannot raise or talk about it. I am sure that the head of the school might have communicated to their district office of education, to the regional office. I don't know. I'll be glad if you give in that particular school, so that I can personally take an interest and see the energy.
I'll give you the details.
Because all these things last week or so, Joy FM raised something about furniture in Panda district. So I know government has done a lot, because these are all backlogs of furniture. You get what I mean? Because you look at what the education ministry have done, Common Fund have supported, Get Fund have supported, but still there is still room for more to be done. As we speak to you now, this week, 5,000 of these furniture has been sent to the Panda district. So if the journalist has raised this issue, I think it is apt. We don't need to fault him at all. He's trying to save a situation that we don't want to hear in the future.
But we also need to start focusing on official domain, how they literally gagged these headmasters and mistresses. I mean, off camera, they will talk to you, but to make the story complete, you also need the headmaster and
to firm it up.
To say, look, this is the situation, and look at it, and this is what I'm managing, and this is the danger. But they can't speak, because immediately they speak, they become targets.
I know.
And we need to start looking at that one as well.
It happens like that. But I think that for what the journalist has done, I think that we need to commend him. And for all you know, one of the teachers might have prompted him to come to the school.
Exactly the case.
Because
exactly the case.
there is that fear that he cannot speak publicly about
case.
it. So I'll be interested for you to give me that.
I'll share you a video with you and the
Minister for Education.
But former teacher,
well,
you have a comment on this one?
Teacher, always a teacher. I'm not surprised. I remember I visited a school. In fact, my former school.
You have to do something for them.
Yes, I've done something.
Okay.
There's an AstroTurf.
Later I go to Temale.
There's an AstroTurf.
What's the name of the school? Is Sakasaka?
No, Kulukulu School.
I have to go look for it.
It's actually two schools on the same compound. You have Methodist Primary and Methodist Presby Primary.
Okay.
So we call the place Kulukuli.
Kulukuli.
You know, we used to eat them.
So you went to Presby or Methodist school?
Methodist.
Methodist.
Yes, I went to Methodist Primary, Methodist JHS actually.
Oh, okay.
And it used to be called Kulukuli because they used to sell Kulukuli. I haven't agreed.
So you go and eat Kulukuli there.
I never had an agreed to attend
the groundnut snack.
And this guy did some work, the Wakaso. Wakaso renovated, he renovated the school. So I visited the some of the roofs actually got
off.
So I provided some roofs. And we're also going to ask permission to have the AstroTurf on their field. And then when I went there, one of the teachers secretly called me, asked I was addressing, and said he would want me to
see something.
One of the classes. I went there, and the students were actually lying on their belly in Tamale, in the heart of Tamale. And the fear was that if the head teacher could not take me in neither the management, because if they do so, they will be transferred. And I think that hour of fear that is instilled on heads of schools, educational institutions, for me, is unacceptable. People should have the right to express their convictions on issues, particularly education. And so I'm not surprised that the journalist himself has indicated the trust that he received as a result of reporting. And the point is that for me, if I were the management of the school or the headmaster or headmistress, they should encourage such. It's a journalist who came there. You can ask me who informed the journalist to come there. But once the journalist comes there, let it be highlighted. Because once it is highlighted, the authority would give that school some attention. Because frankly, education is very important. I tell people, but for education, I don't think myself and you would have been here. I don't think that you would have been hosting this program. It's because of education that we had the privileged opportunity to even be elected as members of parliament.
That's right.
That is not to say that you necessarily need to have some formal education to be elected, but at least it gives you some added advantage, particularly when the means of communication in the house is English language. So I think that we need to take issues of education very serious. Look, no nation can ever be developed, or no nation has ever been developed. Even the civilizations we're talking about would have first and foremost looking at enlightenment. They look for food first, and having gotten food, they look for enlightenment, in this case education. So for us to be able to build the capacity of this country, to be able to develop this country to the level that we all anticipate or expect it, education for me is sine qua non. So I just want to add my voice to what my brother said on this matter. And I think that the authorities, if they are listening, they should take action immediately.
Okay, thank you very much. 9:02 is the time. Titus, Glover, I asked you
on the appointments.
Was it really a reshuffle?
Well, essentially, what really prompted this is regards of the resignation of Honorable Lanchema Ting and the Honorable Ifri Yakuto, and that's brought this positions to be filled. But looking at all the gentlemen involved, from Stephen Asamoah Boateng to Katie Hammond, Obi Amwa, Aminanta, Brian Achampong. As for Krapa, he's been just moved from one ministry to the other. You know, and I want to take them one after the other. For example, when you look at, I was just sharing this with your viewers on the TV, that the trade and industry is a very essential, what do you call it? Ministry. And you need somebody with a very strong hand that could help us to drive the vision of the president in the ministry. And you realize that the propensity and a taste for exotic food in this country is becoming unbecoming. I remember my days in the trade unions, talking about the 1994, 95, thereabout, when Mr. Christian Apiaje was a Secretary General of the TUC. One of the team for the May Day is about made in Ghana goods. That was the team. And you could see that the more we consume goods that are produced in this country, the more it stimulates productivity, the more it stimulates employment in the country.
It even affects your CD.
You know, and the forex and all that. So this policy, import substitution policy of 1D, 1F, I realized that it's a very fantastic policy. You take it or you leave it. The initial was of over 200. And as we speak now, a little over 100 have been active that are working. When you go to Ashanti region now, it's about 54 different types of industries that are going. My brother Mutala has been saying that there's a need for us to look at its impact. I agree with him. What has been the impact in the coming of these industries?
That's a critical question.
That is a very critical question that we need to look at. Because, for example, like I said, in Ashanti region, there are 54. If your cameras one of these days can visit and find out there's factory A, factory B, factory C, what has been the impact, what has been the level of employment that has generated into the local economy of these areas, is going to help a lot. You understand?
Because I developed taste for eco juice or eco juice, right? That's what
That's also take two.
Yes.
That's what I take too.
Exactly. But then at some point you can't find them in the supermarkets. So then you revert to the imported ones.
You know.
And I felt bad about it because I tasted it, the quality was good. I even posted it on my social media pages.
In my home,
but you can't find
I've
it.
stopped taking. I've told them I don't want any foreign rice in the house. I want local rice, and it tastes good.
I eat Minta Kandos rice.
He has given one before.
Yeah.
It's quite good. When you are coming from Anglon, towards Dabala Junction, there's a rice mill on your left as you drive towards Dabala, and you see them selling the rice right on the shoulder of the road. And I just buy them. So clearly, I see Katie Hammond coming to continue what Honor Alan Chimanti has left. I'm sure the handing over notes are all there that he need to look at. There's a need for him to build bridges with people of Guta and other stakeholders. When you go to the port, your freight forwarders, the importers, the exporters, and all that. So we'll be able to do something to drive this country. Now we'll come to Agric. Honorable Brian Achampo, very youthful, full of adrenaline, coming from an agrarian region. You look at Front Plains, north and south, vast land that is there. You look at the river, the Afram, all over the place. The northern region, the 5 northern region alone, can feed West Africa. I want to see him not to be sitting in the office. They will move out and sitting. You go to Mamikrobo, you go to Donko Krom, you go to Tiase. These are all areas that you come to Salaga, you go to Pandai, you go to Fumbusi. In Bulsa South, all these areas are people potential areas. When we give the right resources, the equipment, encourage the farmers, we're able to turn things around. So,
but you know, I had a conversation with Mita Kando, MP for Jaboso, and he mentioned to me that look, for him and farmers like Mutala, their maize and the rest, there's no single policy in terms of support for commercial farmers in the country. Not a single policy. They sell electricity to them pretty much like they sell to 3FM, water, same, fuel, same. So for their combined harvesters, whatever fuel they buy, there's no subsidized. Electricity on the farmhouses, same. Water, because we don't have a lot of irrigation, facilities, same. Fertilizer, they have to buy their own things. There are no tax rebates for them. So if they employ 100 people, so they, by the time they finish, the cost is passed on to the consumer. And then you would say, oh, imported rice or imported maize is cheaper. But locally, we are not enabling them to deliver.
To some extent, I can feel how Kobran Minta is talking.
Mutala is also suffering the same thing.
Farming in itself is not a bad idea at all.
No.
I have said time and number, when I stop politics, no, I want to go into farming. Quietly in a village somewhere. Of all this pressure, we go and sit in your corner and be doing farming. It's fantastic. Most of the rich guys in America are farmers.
That's right.
Do you understand? So now that Brian Achampo has come, he's in parliament with him. Some of this brilliant idea that he has, I don't mind if he can share with him. If indeed there's not, but I'm not so sure of what he's talking about, that there's no direct policy as to support farmers. I mean, people in commercial farming. I have no clue from what he's saying. But even if it is so, he now has the opportunity. We are contemporaries.
Right.
We enter parliament. Even Brian came a few months after us when our senior people died. Where he came. So they are all colleagues there. He can share some of these ideas to him, and I'm sure. I can see my brother is here.
We'll engage Lawyer Pia Kubi shortly.
So that he take over.
Yes. No.
Originally is supposed to be here.
Okay. Mutala says
no, it's fine.
No worry.
Mutala says it's fine.
No, it's fine.
Andy, please come.
No, you can all sit.
So there's a swap going on, and for those of you on social media.
Originally, you're supposed to be here.
Yes, but so you sit with
No, you can all sit. No.
So Phil, bring the DJ Phil, bring the.
You can all sit.
He's doing so well.
Yes.
Two elephants.
Andy, come.
Please.
No, don't worry. The 2 elephants, the umbrella will be able to provide shade
Look at it.
for both of you. The umbrella will provide shade for both of you.
And keep your messages coming in, Dr. Brown, down below on Facebook, Canada on Facebook, as well as Kojo Asempa Furniture Works. You're on Facebook watching us on 3FM 927. Bring the views in. Council, how are you? Good morning.
They are greeting you. He
Good
was
morning.
working on another
How are you?
press conference.
Very well, thank you.
Is it true? Are you working on another press conference?
Oh, no,
The anti-Ken.
See, I had an emergency this morning, so
Right.
I had to attend to it.
Right.
I'm very sorry about not coming. But I'm very also comforted by the presence of my senior in the House.
Right.
And he's done very well because I was listening to him.
Right.
And I hope that he continues delivering the gospel to
I hear you.
people like
Which gospel?
Multala who need to listen to him.
The sad aspect is that the gospel is being preached in a battle. That's the sad aspect of the gospel.
For the sake of salvation. The Honorable Andy Apia
So God will mind you.
is MP for Asante Achim North. Honorable, are you happy with the changes that have been made within the ministerial front?
I'm particularly happy with what my good friend was discussing, Brian's appointment to the Ministry of Agriculture. And in fact, if you look at our history in that ministry, many people have come and gone, but the people who made the mark are people who had military backgrounds. You talk about Kenneth Benasco, you talk about Commodore Bimpe, you talk about Kori Kwashiga, people like that. Because as my brother was saying, they didn't come to sit in the office. They moved into the precincts and they made sure that their impact were felt in those precincts. So I believe and I know that Brian will do the same. He will do even better. And like my brother was saying, I heard Mutala when he was talking and he said talk about rice. If we are able to stop rice importation into the country alone, we will have made an impact. And I'm happy that I'm also doing the same in my constituency.
Oh, you farm too? Super. Super.
If we count plantain farmers in Ghana, we want to take 10 out of the lot. I'll be somewhere.
So the former Greek minister got some of the plantain from you to come and sell at the ministry?
Of course.
Okay.
And yes. Sometimes I harvest 10 Kia trucks from one farm.
Wow.
And I have about 300 acres of farm differently. You understand? But I'm also going into rice. Odum, who has helped Nigeria come out of rice importation, is now in my constituency.
Okay.
I have personally engaged him to supervise the outgrowers. And we are going to, I want us to take over rice production in Ghana in the next 2 years as a constituency. Myself, I have surveyed about 200 acres of the farms that I'm going to plant this season.
Right.
So I want somebody like Brian to come to the farm and see what is happening.
Okay.
His presence alone can encourage a lot more people to participate. And indeed, my presence is already yielding. I have already 80 outgrowers whom we registered last week coming along to do the farming with us. So I assure you, and I promise you, and I want to also serve invitation to you that don't sit here and listen to us.
Right.
You move and come to the farms.
No, I go to the farm. In fact, I reported the rice glass.
You haven't come to my farm.
No,
so
I will come. I'm taking the invitation now.
So,
I shall come.
So yes, and if you come to my farm, at least bring a pickup. For nothing at all,
okay.
You will come back.
Something will happen.
You will come back with one full load of.
I hear
plantain.
you. I hear you. I hear you.
And that invitation is also extended to my brother here.
Right.
I want him to develop the taste for plantain. So let him.
I see, Honorable Andy Appiah-Kubi. So you say you are satisfied with the changes, but if I remember the press conference that you led, you wanted Mr. Ofori-Atta out.
Yes, I'm saying that I'm satisfied with the changes, particularly the one with
concerning Brian.
I know that Honorable K.T. Hammond is very industrious and ambitious, and he want to perform also. I wish him well, but I'm yet to see what he will do. But trade ministry is also a technical area, so he
has Stephen Amo as support.
Well, so we need to pray for them. But on the issue of Ken Must Go, I am still where I am. And I'm sure that we are justified with what has happened since we even came out to say it.
Right.
But the prerogative is with the president to cause that change. We have advertised our intentions and what we thought was necessary for our government and president to do. And we have tabled also a request to him. We've had a lot of interactions with him, and we have a common understanding as to a timeline that our requests will be met. So we are in waiting in the hope that what we ask of the president to do will happen. We don't have constitutional power to cause that change. All that we need to do as constitutional advocates is what we have done.
But you had a strong case, and before I come to that, when you say we should pray for K.T. Hammond and Dr. Amwa, it looks like you don't have confidence
they are new in the industry.
Within that space.
No, they are new in the industry. And I have been a part of that industry in the past. My brother here, he has been a deputy minister in the ministry. He understands what I'm saying.
Titus as well.
Yes, and my brother here, both of them. So all three of us have been participants in the ministry, and we understand and we know what is there. And we check in from the background of the people who come there with that.
So that's why I'm asking, why would the president pick people who are not within the field to perform that?
If you are seen not to have been part, or you are seen as lacking some experience, that is a challenge to you. So I'm sure some people may be motivated by the public disquiet and probably perform to even exceed our expectation. So I want to put it as a challenge to them that everybody is watching them, so they need to exceed the expectations to satisfy not only himself and the president and the party and the government, but also the general populace.
We are in February. Ken is still at post.
Yes.
And the people want him out, literally. I mean, if you listen to the tone of industry and everybody, they literally want him out. They say, look, if you ask him to go and he indeed goes, it will send a different signal to the public.
This is exactly what we said in our press
But the
conference.
president is not listening.
Listen, this is exactly what we said.
But
in
the
our press
president is not listening.
But listen, wait a minute. And we continued to explain why we thought he had to go. Circumstances subsequent probably have justified the position we took. But like I told you, constitutionally, my power just ends there by going to the appointer that this is my position. This is the intentions that we carry. And we also explained that we took also suggestions from the populace. In fact, indeed, we had visited our constituents and they had given that indication. So we came to the president to tell him. And in any case, that is as much as we can do within the constitutional framework. We cannot move any further than that. So we have done what is constitutionally required of us, and we expect and hope that the president will also continue to do justice to our request. But that is as far as we can go.
But counsel, you're a lawyer. You practice based on principles.
Yes.
The principle was that the public have lost confidence. Your constituents who you had consulted had said that they want both Ken and Dr. Dubois out. Dr. Dubois is out presently. He's not part of the government. Somebody else is going to replace him. But the principle is that you said your people told you, and that is what you came to re-echo. Have your people changed their mind?
No, they haven't, and that is exactly what I've
So
said this morning.
why are you not
No, no.
keeping to the principle that you will not
Did I
be
tell
there?
you that
You will not be there to hear the budget being read. You will not debate it. You will not support the government. You have done all of those.
Okay. Have I told you that I don't believe in what we said? I haven't. I am still where I am. But subsequent to the publication and indication of our intent, there were a lot of interactions with government, with president, with interest holders, stakeholders differently. And there was a realization that country Ghana was important, and therefore where we were, we needed to salvage the economy by way of attracting the IMF attention. And that we were at that time seen to be disrupting the IMF initiative. And therefore, at that point in time, we decided that let us give in to some of the demands we're making, give concessions in the hope of attracting the IMF to bail us out. Because come to think of it, we cannot just be focusing on one person and destroying the whole economy. So common sense prevailed on us that, well, in the circumstances, let us agree that the IMF arrangement proceed without any
But Mr.
disruption.
Ferreira is not the only person leading the conversation.
That's true.
So you,
That's true.
Yes.
But we were so counseled, and that we needed to pass the budget as a precondition for the IMF condition, which we did, and we needed also for him to lead us finish the phase one, which we have done.
So
for
he's still
now-
at post.
For now, we have delivered.
And you had the option. No. If you say you have delivered, somebody will disagree with you on the note that you had the option of the vote of no confidence, but you didn't take the vote. You chickened out.
Wait a minute. If you go to the Constitution, the Constitution says that even if the vote of censure had passed, we were still going to the president with a request for the removal of the minister. And we had already gotten to the point of requesting the president to remove the minister. So it is like we are going to Kumasi in a vehicle. We have gotten to KNUST junction.
Right.
And then these people who are asking for the constitutional censure had just started from Accra circle. And me, I'm in tech wanting to reach Kumasi. You want me to come back to Accra to join your vehicle to go to Kumasi? I think that was impracticable, because at the point where we had done already what you were seeking to do, we didn't need to retract and come and join you, begin it. We are already there. And don't forget that constitutionally, even the censure, the person of the censure couldn't remove him, except with concurrence of the president.
But I thought that if you had a strong case, stuck to your principle that we will not participate in government business until you give us what we're looking for.
I have explained that.
Because essentially, what the minority and your side are both asking for is the same thing.
Yes.
Let Ken go.
Yes.
You just don't agree with the process. Is that the case?
You see, there were procedural differences.
That's right.
And we thought that we were first in time and we had reached destination already. And the invitation was for us to come and join them start the journey. The journey which we had already covered. So we thought that was late in time, and that would have no bearing because we were already doing what we want to do in the future. So why come and start to do the same thing? So at that point, we had already laid bare our intentions to the president. The thing that they wanted to do through the censure motion, we had already done.
Do you think the president missed the opportunity yesterday with the announcement of this new set with Ken still at post?
Well,
to win back the love of the populace?
I don't know what the president is also hearing. I am sure and I'm convinced that maybe the president has sent the president has sent researchers onto the minefield to bring out information. I don't know how they are reporting to him. But what I'm hearing is what my people also joining me, what we advocated. If somebody is hearing something different, I cannot understand, but be it as it is now and be it as the Constitution prescribes, he is the appointer and he is the one with the mandate to disappoint.
Incidentally, the group that you led had some former deputy ministers in there. Some say you're just disgruntled. That's why you're making some of these calls, because you were part of the first half, but the second half you were made to sit on the bench and that's it.
To tell you the truth, I think that even in the first term, I did not exhaust the energy that I had to display within the ministry, and I'm very sad about that.
So you would want to be reappointed?
No, wait a minute.
Would you want to be reappointed?
I will not accept in my life ever accept an appointment as a deputy minister ever again, because if you have energy, you have talent that you want to display, and you are limited by a constitutional provision that says that your appointment is subject to your support of your minister. Right. Your talent is limited.
Assistant act in this absence.
I think your talent is very limited. I made a mistake of I accepted that position. I won't do that again. And I'm saying that I didn't have the opportunity to display the energy that I had at the time. Right. So I'm not worried at all about the disappointment. Yesterday I was in the Supreme Court. Come see the beauty of advocacy in the Supreme Court with 9 judges throwing questions at me, me answering questions to the 9 judges. I was so happy yesterday. You see, and I was doing a constitutional case. You see, this is what I've been trained to do,
right?
And I enjoy doing that.
Would you want to be trade minister?
Oh, I don't have the capacity to appoint myself as trade minister.
I'm asking you, if the president offers you that, would you take it?
Trade is my training.
I know. Would you take the job if you're given the job?
It is not given to me, so I will not speculate.
No, I'm putting a condition. Would you take it?
No. Even though I have not been appointed or offered, if I'm called to support any initiative in the ministry, I will gladly do it for Mother Ghana's sake.
I know you. I know you will. I'm asking you a specific question, Council.
No.
Would you take the trade ministry job if it's offered to you?
Listen, for now, I have not been offered. So there's nothing like whether or not I like it. No, but I'm saying, for Mother Ghana's sake, if I am called to do anything to support any initiative, I think for now it is late. For me, that's my perception. Okay. For me, it is late.
Because of the time left for the government?
It is late in time. Trade is not an ordinary ministry that you walk in and wear shoes and go. No. Trade policy has some underpinnings that
Are you refusing to take it, saying it's too late because you think that the government is...
saying too late for me.
The government has fallen beyond redemption.
No. I'm saying it is too late for me.
For you.
Because if I was appointed to any ministry, I would want my impact to be felt.
Right.
And I wouldn't just go and wear somebody's shoes going forward when I don't understand the undergirding principles and facilities.
For some of the projects.
So for me, this is my mind. This is my opinion.
Right.
For me, it is too late.
The men, your party says we have the men. Do you think that this new faces and the swapping, if you like, filling the gaps that we have now would change anything at all?
Are they not men?
Oh, I didn't say they are not.
So if we say we have the men, we have produced some men. So let them take this initiative and let's see how they perform. It is how you perform that makes you a hero in an area, not necessarily the face that you bring into that position. So I think that let's give them the benefit of that. Let's give them some chance. They will also prove themselves. But me personally, I told you that my training has been in trade and trade law and all that. And tell you one thing that probably you don't know. The enclave in Tema, the industrial park in Tema, it was, I was the person who promoted it very much when I was chief executive, acting chief executive of Free Zone. And indeed, I defended the program at World Bank and I supervised the construction, including the road.
So you are qualified for the job?
Oh, my brother here, he's been deputy minister there. Is he not qualified? And my good friend here, he's been deputy minister of trade before, and he performed both of them. And are they not qualified? Yes, but the prerogative is with somebody else. And if they appointed Murtala, for example, into a trade ministry yesterday, would somebody come and say that he's not qualified? I was with him at the World Trade Organization meeting, me and him. We went there. We went to WTO, we went to ITC, and we went to ANTAC, and then all that. And the debate there was very rich. Tell me it was not. It was very rich. And this is coming from members of parliament in the two parties. You understand? So in such international meetings, there is no partisanship. That is where you enjoy the brilliance of members across the aisle. When we come to Ghana and we are in the house,
partisanship begins.
Begins. So it is partisanship that kills most of these initiatives. And I'm hopeful that we all learn from that and see that we have one enterprise, Mother Ghana. We need to save it. So partisanship for now.
At this point, when the government says we should burden share, we have now brought up a new role, Minister of State at the local governance ministry. Mr. Obi Amoa, very experienced within that space, but he's going to work again, if you like, on the same wavelength with Mr. Dankweku Botwe. Then you have a minister for chieftaincy, and then you have a minister of state at the finance ministry. Did we need all of that?
Well, the finance ministry, I would say yes, because there was somebody who was acting in that capacity, and that person has been removed. And indeed,
but there are calls for you to reduce the size of your government.
There are calls, but it is not an omnibus call that reduce from everywhere. There are certain critical areas that we need attention still, notwithstanding the difficulties we face. But we could reduce the size in other areas.
The finance minister is there. He has two deputies.
Yes.
And then there's a minister of state at the finance ministry.
If you go to the finance ministry, you will see the shadows are very different and technical.
But they are technical advisors.
You see, even yesterday, I had the opportunity of talking to a very senior lawyer who is very prominent in Ghana, who told me that when you lose somebody very critical in an area, and he mentioned it, that in my law firm, there was somebody who was handling a natural resource law, and he retired. And we haven't found anybody for that position, and the firm is suffering. So you see that although there are lawyers there in that firm, somebody doing maybe litigation, others doing corporate, others doing company law and all that, but still in the energy areas, natural resource areas, they were found wanting because somebody retired. So it is not the case that of just numbers. You are looking at shadows. if somebody is handling a very important critical schedule and he's out of the office.
But can we afford it? Because the people are saying, look, reduce the size of your government. If
Yes,
you want,
I
if you want
understand-
us to sacrifice,
I understand reducing
you
the
also
size-
show us that you are sacrificing.
I understand this, the concept of reducing the size of government, but in some very critical areas, the reduction wouldn't affect.
You
But
don't
in
need
some
you
other
don't need a
areas-
chieftaincy minister when you have a religious affairs minister who could also play that role. You don't need a chieftaincy minister, do you?
Yes, but no. I'm sure you're getting it wrong. The two are together.
Right.
Religious affairs and chieftaincy, they are together. And the minister.
Kofi Jamesi is still at post. He's not.
No.
He's
not.
no longer at post.
He's not.
He's at Will Power.
We power,
He's
right? He's
not.
moved. Okay.
So the minister who has just resigned was handling the two portfolios.
Right.
Except that he has resigned and we need to replace somebody to handle all two. So in the case of the Ministry of Religious Affairs and Chieftaincy, there's still one person coming in.
Was this the kind of reshuffle that you expected?
Well, I expected it to be deeper than what we are seeing.
So this is not deep
But,
enough.
yes.
When you
but-
say deeper than what you're saying, what do you mean?
And you see, as for the Ken matter, as he mentioned, we have stated our
Ken is the
position already.
constant. He must go.
As for him, it was a non-negotiable position. So if I'm considering other people who must be reshuffled or changed, Ken is not a factor.
Do you think that some ministries should be merged?
I do so.
Which ministries are these? I'm sure you.
Well,
within
this
your
is only for
consultations.
academic purposes.
Right.
I would have thought that the transport ministry, for example, should include railway, except that maybe one deputy minister
Is in
could
charge
handle railways and probably ports, and the other will handle and come under one minister.
Right.
It's my suggestion.
Right.
I'm not trying to undermine any structure created by government, but if I was the president, probably I would think of putting these two ministries together. Let's say Ministry of Agric and Aquaculture. If I was, put them together, and get some two deputies running. You see, but unfortunately, I'm not. So it is only just my suggestion.
But you have a voice in the
Well,
party.
the voice is what I'm doing.
The president doesn't listen to you.
No, the voice is what I'm doing, and I'm sure that somebody is also listening. So if there's somebody listening and thinks that there is legitimacy in what I'm saying,
But the president insists that he's a listening president.
I'm not challenging that.
But he's not listening to you.
But the listening and doing and acting upon it, they are two different things. And you see, there's no compulsion when you have listening to do.
Or
and
is
acting.
hearing you and not listening.
Well, you can still listen and not act.
Because listening
Because
begets action.
No,
Hearing
when you
is,
listen and get it, you process it to test its validity. So if maybe when he processes it and testing the validity, he sees that opinion is not valid or not applicable. There's no compulsion.
But these are cogent ideas that you're putting across.
Well, cogent to you and me. But what about my good friend Multala?
President Ronaldo.
So if Multala says that my senior brother, what you have said is good, but I don't think it is applicable, we can't practice it, then it ends there. So this is an opinion I have expressed. But there are also other ministries that could come together. And then put properly in. But I'm happy that in recent times, President has aligned the Ministry of Employment and Social Welfare,
With pensions.
pensions and pension fund and the Senate fund to appropriately, because that is what comes out of the prescription of the law.
I hear you. Let me bring in Mutala. Mutala, so are you happy with the reshuffle, or you don't see a reshuffle at all?
See, I'm going to begin with two Dagomba proverbs. That if your mother passes and you want to pretend that nothing happens to her, well,
What
when
makes it Dagomba?
I'm talking about, I don't care whether other ethnic groups have it as proverb. I'm a Dagomba. That's why.
It is not Dagomba.
No, I'm talking about that. I don't know. So you would have to tell me. And you pretend that your mother is still alive. Well, the day will come that you'll be exposed.
Everybody is going to their mother and...
The second one, and with apologies to your listening and viewing public, that when you sleep with itching anus, you are bound to wake up with smelling fingers.
Okay.
All the problems we are having today, for which reason my senior colleague has spoken for almost an hour, they are all self-inflicted problems. And I've also seen some contradictions in his rather principled position. He says that he felt when he was appointed a deputy, he didn't bring up his best because he was to assist someone.
That's right.
Assist someone to achieve an objective. But in another breath, he says that if they want to, when we ask him whether he would accept appointment as a minister, and he says, look, he's prepared to assist in any capacity.
Yes.
Even deputy minister, you are assisting. So if you say that, and he also said that if they make him a deputy minister, he won't accept it because he felt just a mistake to have accepted the first deputy minister.
That's right.
But in another breath, he says that if he's called to assist in any capacity, he will do that. I see contradictions.
No. Not in the capacity as deputy minister, but I'm saying
You are
that
not
even
giving the
now,
caveat.
You
even now,
assist on the side.
outside government,
Assistant.
if I am called upon as a private
you
person,
spoke for almost an hour.
No. Let me correct it.
Take
As
note.
As
Take note. When I
as a private person, I will do. And indeed, this is what we are doing.
It doesn't.
But I will not. I was specific
it hasn't changed.
in the position of deputy minister. I won't take it.
Johnny,
He said he won't take the post again.
Johnny, don't allow him to outsmart us. Whether Jonah swallowed the fish or the fish swallowed Jonah, there was a swallow. You are prepared to assist in any capacity, and that any capacity include being appointed as a deputy minister.
Right.
So there's a clear contradiction. If you are now telling me,
I have ruled that one.
now
He said he doesn't want to be a deputy minister. It was a mistake in the first place. And even the ministerial role is too late.
So he must admit that contradiction has been established and settled. If he's now saying that, yes, I am prepared to assist in any capacity except being appointed a deputy minister, then I can agree with him.
Yes, take it out. I mean, there's nothing wrong with changing your mind.
There's nothing wrong with changing your mind.
Or adding to your position.
Oh, no, I understand. So another brother, he said,
An addendum is not a mistake.
he said that
Yes.
he used an analogy, and I'm looking at those analogy. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I think I can still remember. The reason why they refused to join us in our motion, the censor motion, to have Minister for Finance removed, was because he had already reached Ijisu.
Tech Junction.
He had already reached Tech Junction. Whilst we are all going to Accra and we are still here. That is not accurate. As a matter of fact, you knew that all effort to meet the president and demand that the president takes action failed. In fact, I listened to you. I shared the same program with you. And I listened to you and also Honorable Eugene. You've all stated that even to the extent of engagement, the majority leader promised he was going to have a meeting with the president on an issue, met the president, and when he came, he told you people that, look, there wasn't any way out.
Are you suggesting the president doesn't listen?
He doesn't. He knows he doesn't listen.
No. The failure to meet the president was before.
No, I'm coming. Hold on. No.
Before the press conference.
Hold on. In the first place, when you talk about you started, it's not even true. The NDC had indicated through Honorable Haruna Idrisu at Conclave, a day before you held your press conference.
But was I there?
It doesn't matter. When you say that you started it, that's not even accurate. Honorable Haruna Idrisu had indicated
To who?
to Honorable Chairman Sabunsu the day before you had your press conference that we were going to move the censure motion. And in fact, on the day we moved the motion, he spoke to Honorable Chairman Sabunsu directly that yesterday I indicated to you at Conclave that this was the action we were going to take. So it is not even true. The point is that
I'm happy that Haruna didn't speak to me. I didn't speak to any of our group members. Honorable Chairman Sabusu was not part of our group.
So haven't been informed, and which you are not contesting, that Honorable Haruna Idrisu made that statement on the floor.
There, so
I said haven't been informed now.
Yes.
Go and sing no more.
if you are saying
I say
that,
go and sin no more.
How does it affect
Don't
the
go
substance?
anywhere again and say that because you started it and you were midway, and therefore you could not be seen coming back by your tech junction analogy.
Okay.
I'm saying that don't talk about it because we started the process.
Let's make
and
progress.
in any case, it was very clear to you that the president was unwilling to change him. Now, between the position you took, which I agree was a principal position, and the position we took, if you had supported the motion, Ken wouldn't have been a minister today, except that the president would have been belligerent, refusing to act upon a decision
So it would
taken.
have exposed the president. is that
Yes,
what you're
and
saying?
two, apart from even exposing the president, the moment Parliament senses a minister and expect the president to give his accent and he refuses, Parliament can decide not to recognize that minister as a minister of state before Parliament.
Is that not stretching? The
No, you can.
legislation?
Parliament can do that.
No, but
And
you'll be stretching
no,
it.
no, but-
Giving the indications
No,
that they
would
were
be-
counseled
that would be an
to
absolute-
recognize
Who says
the
that the
IMF.
Can I finish? I'm saying that would be an absolute disregard and disrespect to Parliament. Now, if Parliament does that, it will be untenable for the minister to continuously hold his office as a minister. Because, mind you, he is the only minister who has business with Parliament almost every day. So, assuming Parliament decides that we are no longer going to recognize you as a minister of state, because as a house we took a decision to censure you, the president will be forced to remove him. So, they needed to have joined the move that we had. Unfortunately, they changed their mind. And I know why they changed their mind.
Tell me.
They changed their mind because they were engaged by a private businessman.
Oh, really?
Ask him.
But he mentioned that a private businessman came
That's what I'm
with
saying.
the
I haven't accused them.
all
I
that
haven't
I want
accused
to
them
tell
for
my brother is
anything.
that we are serious here.
Ah,
We don't
who is
bring
not
these
serious
jokes.
here?
Don't bring these jokes.
You, what jokes? If it was joke, why
Because
did
we were
said-
influenced by.
No, how
Can
you
you
say
say
you're
that-
influenced? I haven't said you're influenced. I said because you were met by a private businessman. I choose my
They were
words.
engaged.
Very, very. Oh,
You said they were engaged.
yes. I said because you were engaged.
So what is the presumption in engagement?
Well, choose your own presumptions. I'm just saying that perhaps he engaged you to beg you, perhaps he engaged you to plead with you, but you yourself, you said he attempted to bribe you people and you refused. You yourself, you said it.
Yes. So.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying.
So if I said he attempted
rejected
and
it.
we
And then-
rejected,
no, hold on.
what is the influence of that engagement?
No, I said he engaged you. And my reason is that the reason why you change your mind is because he engaged you. Whatever motivated that changes,
But
I don't
have
know.
you changed your mind?
Eh? If you didn't change your mind, you threatened that you are not going to participate in
The hearing
the
and
hearing
debate of the
of the
budget.
I don't want to
You
engage you in
said that.
debate here because I have stated the reasons why
You were counseled, and then you wanted the IMF
I don't
program
want-
first
you see,
part
that
to
is
go
why
through.
You
we are not here.
You are all not being
look,
fair to me.
We are not here.
He spoke for almost an hour. I listened to him. I listened to him. Everything
But
he
you
said.
need to set the record straight.
No, what have I said that is misrepresenting what you said?
that we were engaged by somebody and decided
Did
to
he
change our
engage
mind.
you or he didn't engage you?
Well, is that the reason why we had an understanding
That is what
of
I think.
the time frame?
Well,
It's your mind.
That is what I think.
It's your
because
mind.
I am saying that he engaged
So
you.
you think that? Don't say
Okay,
that.
gentlemen, let's make
we're
progress.
disengaged.
But I said that
Mutala,
way.
let's make progress. And apologies.
Johnny, we are making progress.
Okay.
Everything I have said here is been discussed.
Okay.
So if you tell me that we should make progress, we're making progress.
No, I'm going to ask you a question.
If he
now.
stopped the interjections, I listened to him. I should allow
No,
me
but I
to
wouldn't
make up.
allow you to cast a smear on me
Have I
like
cast-
that because
have I done that?
you say somebody engaged us and we changed our mind. That is not true.
No, I said that I think that you changed your position because you were engaged.
Now
But
that
he's,
you
but
say
he's
that-
saying
Before
that
you know, he
your
pleaded
opinion,
with you people.
take that to
Yes,
opinion.
maybe he pleaded with you people. He knelt down before you.
You
people.
can
Okay.
I was
never
not in that
indict
meeting.
me for any.
I haven't indicted you.
Never. You
Is that how you feel?
Mutala,
Yes, that's how I feel.
Mutala, what do you
No, hold on. If he feels that way, then I'm
then
really
you
sorry. To be very
apologize,
honest
yes.
with you, that is never, and this is not the first time I have made this statement. So I'm surprised that he's taking it to heart.
No,
I am not. No, I haven't indicted you. You granted interview. If you're not being sincere, you wouldn't have even granted that interview. When you stated
Mutala,
what the facts
what do
were.
you make of the new set of ministers and deputies that have been designated? They
You know,
go
when
through
he
them.
said we should pray for Katie Hammond and then the
Dr. Moore.
Dr. Hammond, and then you ask why. My understanding of it is that we should pray they don't exchange blows. That's what I think.
They will. Why would they?
These are two very complex individuals. Very, very complex.
Are you not complex?
Well, that is why you shouldn't have two complex individuals at the same ministry. You are talking of two very, very complex individuals who are going to work at the same ministry. I know Honorable Katie Hamwa. He said no. Katie Hamon. He said no nonsense man. There are certain things he won't tolerate under any circumstance. And I know my good friend, Dr. Sika, when his name was mentioned, we all rose. We were happy for him. But frankly speaking, at that ministry, more so one of the most important, if not the most important ministry. Forget of even Minister of Finance. Because everything this government is looking at, expanding the economy, creating jobs, improving the living conditions of people, can all be achieved through the Ministry of Trade and Industry.
Would you rather have Honorable Andy Appiah Kubi a minister and then Titus
fantastic.
Titus Glover as deputy?
When we were in Geneva,
they've been within that space
fantastic.
before.
When we were in Geneva, to be very honest, I was telling him that I will be happy if they make you the Minister for Trade.
Oh, you told him?
Oh, no, I told him. When we were in Geneva, I was always telling him that I will be happy if they make you the Minister for Trade. Titus, fantastic individual with his experience with labor unions, experience at the ministry, has been a member of the Committee for Trade and Industries, and a lot of the policy interventions we had, I remember at that time, the Parliament was hugely engaged. Look, the issue of banning this small rice importers, Parliament, in fact, it was a Parliament even decision, and Parliament exiled International Trade Commission, International Trade Facilitation. These were very important bills that evaded, if you like, eluded every government. When we started it, we had to go workshop after workshop for the International Trade Commission bill as a means of protecting our domestic industries. International Trade Facilitation, that gave birth to this paperless thing. And when we're bringing on board depth of experience, he has been at the Free Ghana Free Zones Board. I mean, and one of the most important,
so bottom line is
institutions
that
of the Ministry of Trade.
We could have had other options.
Absolutely. Look, and for me, to be very honest, and not because they're here, and that's why I said that I have told him repeatedly, and I wasn't the only person telling him. Myself, Honorable Yusuf, we are all saying that, look, it will be good if they make you the Minister for Trade. And I told him, but they won't make you because of your position against Ken Ofori-Atta. That man is more powerful than the president.
No. But
he's the most powerful.
The president is the most powerful man.
The man is the most powerful person in this government. Ken Ofori-Atta is the most powerful person in this government. I told my brother Titus. I told my brother Titus, and I am telling you to go and swear affidavit.
And do
add Ofori-Atta to your name, and I'm telling you they're forced to do reshuffle again.
So Andy Appiah Kubi Ofori-Atta
and Titus Glover Ofori-Atta. I'm telling you, if you do that,
lead us not into any temptation.
Look, another bizarre point.
I say lead me not into temptation.
Another bizarre point. Let's go for it.
Minister of Trade. You now have 3 deputies.
Yes.
I mean, it's ridiculous. 3 deputies at the Ministry of Trade. Look, Ministry of Trade is divided into 2, if you like, segments or 2 blocks. You have trade and industry. And the reason why you always have 2 deputy ministers at the Ministry of Trade is that one handles industries and one handles trade. I used to handle trade, and Honorable Rickett used to handle the industry. Now you have appointed a 3rd person at that ministry.
You don't see something.
How are they? Are you going to divide one of the blocks? For them, it simply doesn't make sense. Look, Adam Mohammed Amin Anta,
give me one just minute. When we went to Geneva,
yes,
at least for nothing at all, what we learned was the collaboration between Ministry of Trade and Agriculture.
Right.
Maybe.
What, you have 2 deputies or 3 deputies?
No, maybe. You have already identified roles for the 2 of them. And I'm saying that
they are identified roles.
Yes, and you have discussed that.
Yes.
And I'm telling you that in our discourse with the WTO,
yes,
at least what came out clearly was the need for collaboration between the 2 ministries.
Yeah.
Probably.
Master, I'm not here to conjecture. Okay. I'm not here. I'm not in the business of conjecturing.
So you say
I'm saying that there's going to be conflict.
Okay.
Because the only way that you can have some serenity in terms of how deputy ministers operate, clear-cut responsibilities and rules.
You are talking about Dr.
You bring in another deputy minister. What is he going to take? Is he going to handle industries or he's going to handle trade?
That point has been made.
So that's
Dr. Amin Adam.
Dr. Amin Adam. I mean, he's a senior brother of mine. He taught me actually, very brilliant guy. He did economics. I think he did Become to University of Cape, and he did energy economics, his PhD, at Dundee. So I'm saying that fantastic individual. But the question is, do we need a minister of State at the Ministry of Finance when you have 2 deputies?
Well,
already?
Mr. Apiakubi says that because of the complex nature
Not
of
complex nature,
of the
more
ministry.
so when people are asking you to downsize. When people are asking you to reduce the number, then you go ahead to do this. Another ministers of state. Look, I'm happy for the senior deputy minister, Honorable Obi Amwa.
He has the senior deputy.
Yes, he has always been a deputy minister for I believe for over 20 years. Under President Kufuor, he was a deputy minister.
That's right.
Under this government,
That's
a deputy
right.
minister.
That's right.
Fantastic individual. I mean, this man, I have dealt with him as a student leader. He was the nemesis of student leader and him. They were those doing the MPP politics. They were those doing the MPP politics within the student front, and it was always opposition, you know. But I'm saying that he's always been made a deputy minister. Now they have made him a minister of state. Look, to tell you the truth,
He's going to work with Mr. Damboche.
minister of state, what influence? I mean, let's be honest.
He's going to work with Mr. Damboche.
I'm saying a minister of state. Minister of state, directly, you are not just working with the minister. You are also serving as a liaison with the
you are
presidency.
reporting to the president. They give you a schedule. When you are given a minister of state portfolio, they give you a schedule and you report directly to the president.
Okay, not to the
That's
minister.
the difference.
So you're on the same wavelength as the minister.
Look,
No,
not the same wavelength as a minister, but you see, you are accorded with the
portfolio.
portfolio. It's not necessary. Absolutely bonkers that you are appointing more ministers of state to do what? To exert more pressure on the government kitty.
Okay.
Oh, am I done?
Yes, sir.
You gave them more time than. Meanwhile, I agreed.
So
that two of them, I agreed.
You agreed. So you
No, I'm
decided
saying
to
that
share some of your time.
I agreed that
Right.
2 MPP bigwigs
Yeah.
should be seated with me.
But you so by that agreement, you shared some of your
Then
time.
why would you even give them more time than you are giving me?
You know,
each
you-
of them
you shared some of your
each
time.
of them had more time
You
than
are spending most of the time.
So you don't want Danny to talk.
and with all this, the interjections, I thought you'd be protecting me.
You need protection.
But you are protected.
The last time I checked, you people are not the few journalists who are taking brown envelopes from the Flagstaff.
You are,
Yeah,
Why
you're doing
you accuse
I'm waiting for the day that he will accuse himself.
No, but is it not true?
Why are you doing
Is
this
it
to
not
Johnny?
true? Is it not true
Oh,
that
stop that.
I'm saying that I know he is not. Can you swear
Bro,
that
stop.
they don't give journalists
stop,
money
stop.
in this country?
Very soon.
When you were in
will
office, were you not
accuse
giving?
yourself.
No, we are not.
When you're in office, why you
No,
not
we're
giving?
not. So Johnny, the point I'm
Okay.
just making is that if you look at those appointments, to be very honest with you, I mean, it's ridiculous. The Ministry of Trade and Industries, look, the experience of Honorable K.T. Hammond is not in doubt. But he has never done something that has to do with trade and industries. Never. His expertise, as far as I'm concerned, has always been in the oil industry or energy. Now you send him there to manage a very important, critical portfolio such as the Ministry of Trade. Look, he would need not less than 1 year to understand the work of the ministry. All of us, when you are appointed a minister, even as a deputy minister, it takes time. You get to parliament. Look, he is a lawyer. He gets to parliament. I believe it took time for him to understand the dealings and the workings of parliament. This man is going to take 1 year. The 1 year is already gone. This government is collapsing like a pack of cards. So they should be taking actions that will give some semblance of hope in the people of this country. Unfortunately, their actions are always directed.
You have the final word.
All that I can say is that
You can't stop
I sincerely
Doesn't stop.
pray that these ministers will deliver. I have full conviction that they are going to deliver, particularly Brian and K.T. Hammond. And Brian, knowing him as an old boy of Presec, you'll be guided by the philosophy and the training of our great school.
Christian gentleman.
Yes, because we serve a living God. We've won 7 times. So I know Brian will deliver. And I want to emphasize again that they should not be ministers, trade and agree to sit in their offices. They must move out. When you move out, that is where you see the real issues on the ground that will really shape your policy direction as to how you want to run your ministries and all that. So they should continue to engage, they should listen more, talk less, and more action. And I wish them all the best.
Thank you.
All those who defended Ken in the matter of his removal have been given appointments and promoted.
Oh, is that the
Oh
case?
yes.
As for you.
KT defended. KT, you saw what he did. What's the name?
Stika
was defending. Just observe. That's why I'm saying that the man is the most powerful person in this government.
I see. Let's take some of your messages. Echanam Vasti says, let's continue to support a good government around this country with togetherness. Ghana will work again. We appreciate the government despite all the challenges. They're really working on infrastructure, roads, job creation, the MPP government, because they're really working hard to make Ghana better. Musa Abato says, finally, the domestic debt exchange program has been reached the point, right? Dr. Downblow from Brimsu Pewosika says, if a team isn't scoring, there are instances, especially within first half, where position reshuffle is made. However, if the team is fast spent, we change non-performing players. The entire government machinery must be Canada says, I love your studio. Thank you to Honorable Honorable Mohammed Ibrahim, and also Honorable Andia Piakubi, MP for Akim North, Santi Akim North constituency, and then Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover. 3 strong men in one studio. Yeah, we're going away. Helen.
Yes, sir.
We are almost finished.
Almost finished. Some 3 minutes until we're handing over. Judith is here, ready to give us the news at 10. But thank you to everybody that's engaging with us on our socials. We see the comments on the poll. Thank you for engaging each and every morning. We have a question and or